Hello, this is Pastor Rick, and I want to welcome you to the Sunday Forum, this special summer edition, the Table Talks, to discuss a great topic today. Our topic is the movie Barbie. Yes, we're going to talk about the theological content of the movie Barbie, and I want to entitle this, In the Beginning Was Barbie. Yes, we're going to compare the movie with the Genesis 2 account of creation. But before we move in, as you can see, I've got props for our Sunday Forum this week. Thanks to Margaret Wolf, who gave me not only a Barbie and Ken, her Barbie and Ken, but also one of the accessories, the Barbie Mobile, which shows you, as I'm sure all the women know, and maybe most of the men, that Barbie is a cultural icon. Growing up, almost every woman had a Barbie and a Ken. Yeah, and I can remember growing up as well, not having Barbies and Kens because we were 4 boys at home. So this is all new information to me, stuff that I'm discovering. Obviously, my wife Nina had her Barbies and she gave them to my daughter to play with, but I was never invited to any of those parties. But here we go. We want to talk about the importance of women and the relationship to Barbie. Was that a good thing and a bad thing? And as we'll see, we're going to talk about the doll and the movie because the relationship with that doll, with Barbie, is quite complex. So let me put down my props and we'll talk about both the doll and the movie. Barbie's had this huge impact, as I've said, on the world. First of all, the doll. There are 100 Barbies sold every minute in the world. So Barbies are everywhere. Almost in every culture has some relationship with the doll. But that relationship is complex, and that is reflected in the movie. For example, someone will put down someone else and say, "You are not my Barbie," thinking there's a certain image about women, and I don't reflect that. And so what is that image? And it all gets played out in the movie. Because here, remember creation account. Barbie begins in the movie in Barbie Land. And think Garden of Eden, where this idyllic relationship with Ken. Now, as a man, I didn't realize some of the mythology, some of the origins of Barbie. Barbie and Ken, I thought that they were dating. Possibly even married if I was a smaller child, but no, it's Barbie and Ken. They're in essence just friends. Or as the movie says, he's just Ken. And so they're in this idyllic world where Barbie sort of rules along with the other Barbies. And all of a sudden then there is a fall from grace. What that means in the movie, remember Adam and Eve are thrown out of the garden into a life of sin, as we know in the Bible. Here in the film, Barbie's thrown out of, or she leaves Barbie Land and enters into the real world. And in that real world, she's confronted with sin. Now, of course, the movie doesn't talk about sin, but they do talk about patriarchy. And so she's fighting patriarchy the whole time. And we find out that they even bring the patriarchy, in essence the sin, back into Barbie Land, and we watch in the film how both Barbie and Ken try to find their identities now after having experienced the real world and patriarchy. Okay, I'm not going to spoil the film for you, but basically the writer, Greta Gerwig, is writing with the mythology, with the story of Genesis 2 in mind. And I'm not just making this up or seeing this or superimposing my own theology on the film. Greta talks about the film and how she is playing, again, with the creation account, where you had Adam created and then Eve was his helpmate. Well, in the Barbie film, Barbie is created first. And then Ken comes along as her helpmate. And we're also going to get the tree of the knowledge of good and evil plays a role in the film as well. The whole role of knowledge and how knowledge actually helps Barbie defeat patriarchy. plays a very important role as well. So Greta, as she writes about the film and how she wrote it and how she directed it, she very explicitly says that she is riffing off of, she's playing off of the creation account of Adam and Eve. And so this is just a wonderful film. It's a complex film. In fact, I would encourage you to go, especially women with daughters or women friends, because it raises up so many complex issues about Barbie, her role. By the way, they skewer Mattel as the company. Really, Will Ferrell is the CEO of the company, and it's amazing how they bring up all these complex issues. And so when you leave the theater, even when I left the theater, it's a film that raises up so many issues you want to discuss them after the fact. I just have to say that I was the only man in the theater, but all the other women wore pink. I didn't. That was 2 strikes against me, but I wore my pink today as a nod to Barbie. A great film, but more importantly, it allows us to use our own theology as Christians to understand the plot line of the story. So go see the film, but read Genesis 2 first. Adam and Eve come first, but then comes Barbie and Ken. Enjoy the film. Thanks for joining us on the Sunday Forum. Bye-bye now.